Hello, interwebs, and welcome to the Jumpgate podcast. I am your scatterbrained host, Jesse Gender, and I am joined as always by my host, who is eagerly waiting to write down my words today. You just had a face on, like, what are you gonna say now? Anyways, that's who she is.
We gotta we gotta figure out what episode we're gonna actually do the video on again, because I figure we need to do minimum one of those per season.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I can tell you which one we should do it for this one.
How far out is it?
About midway.
Okay. Cool.
Let me. I can even look right here. Where is it? Yeah, it should be episode 10. Episode 10 this season is definitely the one to do. So.
Now, see, like, here's the thing, listeners. I give it even odds on whether that's because it's really good and she thinks we'll have a really interesting and engaged and active conversation, or she thinks I'll hate it and wants to get me on camera going the fuck off on something.
I won't say. There is an episode this season that I will think you will go the fuck off on, but I'm not telling you which one it is and if it's that one.
Whoa!
Anyways.
This is what happens when you're in your 40s and don't have a boss anymore. You just run out of reasons to not just call shit.
Yeah, that's very, very fair. How have you been, Vera?
I've been okay. This month has been a blur.
Yeah, no, believe me, it's like I looked literally yesterday. I looked at the calendar. I'm like, how the fuck is it almost already June?
Yeah,
like it does not feel like that.
Yeah, there's one long weekend in there, which was my vacation. That was slowed down. Everything else is like, when did that happen? How did that happen? What do you mean my kid's almost graduating 8th grade? What the fuck?
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, it's been a blur. Like, for me too, I've been like working on a bunch of different things, and it's just like, oh my god, I want to die slowly, and it's been just so much. And then I'll share this story. Well, I can share this story now, because I'm not beholden to announcing it officially with anybody at the moment. But Vera knows the story because she's been helping me with it. But I've been writing a book. I was signed with a company to write the book. They came to me for it, but then my editor got let go for different reasons. They did downsizing and whatever. Then they let go my book as well. So this book that I've been working on and have been rushing to finish because they had a short fucking deadline that I've been working on for months, putting everything aside. Now I have no publisher for it. So I've been working for the past few weeks on top of all the other shit that I had to do, prepare for shooting for Nebula, doing YouTube stuff. Now I've had to like find a literary agent and figure out how to fucking do that, which I finally have done thanks to Vera's help because she helped me with my book proposal and all that jazz. So it's just been like, oh great, on top of all the other extra reviews this week, these past few weeks of like Doctor Who and Star Wars Andor and da-da-da-da-da, it's just been hell. So
yeah, and like, just to be clear, when Jessie says that I helped her with this, she means I wrote the whole fucking book.
Oh, yeah, you rewrote the entire book for me. No, the only person who's helping with the fucking book on that end is Aeronach. There's a chapter that Aeronach is, there's based on a video that we did together that she did the kind of lead on, so she's going to get credit for that chapter, so. But you fucking helped, but you didn't write shit, Vera.
No, but I did tell you that your writing was shit, and you had to fix it.
You did on some parts, yeah. I appreciate it.
I'm good for that. Like,
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I will say many horrible things about Vera without hesitation, like clearly and emphatically. I will say that. But one good thing about Vera is she is very, very good at giving critique. Like, legitimately, every time I've sent her stuff to like give criticism on, be a script or whatever, she always has incredible thoughts, and is one of the very few people who does it like critically, not meanly, but without like worrying about whether she's gonna upset you or not, which I really appreciate. It's hard to find someone like that. So
I mean,
give
like,
good criticism.
It helps that you know me so well, and so you know that when I tell you, nah, this doesn't work, it's never personal. It's because it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. But even it's one of those hard things that I found, like even people who I like know are really smart, who I know give like are like really good writers and stuff, they will not give me as good critique, which is always frustrating because it'll be like, it's like, just be honest, to be honest. And they're like, oh no, it's great. And I'm like, no, you could just say what's right. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not going to be hurt.
Don't tell me it's great. I know I suck.
Yeah. Well, it's like, nothing's perfect. I want your opinion. Like even things that like, we're talking about Star Wars Andor a second ago. Like I'm doing a video on Star Wars Andor right now. I love the season. I think it's one of the best pieces of science fiction television that I've written. There's a lot of criticisms that I have in that video. Like I critique even some of the best fucking things that I love. So like there's stuff to critique and everything. So
I mean, you and I are very much on the same page in that, and it's so frustrating when people don't get that. Like I'll criticize one thing and they'll be like, "Why are you always so negative?" I'm like, I literally said it was good, but this one thing bugs me. Like what? Is everyone else really just a switch, all one or the other? Just flipping back and forth.
Our culture, especially just the way we talk about media generally, like even grading things tends to put in the bucket of like, it must be good or it must slot into good or bad. So yeah, it's frustrating.
Did you ever watch or listen to Mr. Sunday Movies?
Sounds vaguely familiar, but I didn't watch them enough to be
I do know that it's a podcast and a YouTube channel. It's out of Australia. It's these two guys, and whenever
I have listened to them. Yeah, they're great.
Whenever they talk about a new movie, at the end of having talked about it, no matter what they said, they have to rank it on best movie ever or worst movie ever. Those are the only two options that they allow themselves to say. So there'll be a movie that like the whole time they've been going like, yeah, it was fine. So best movie ever? Yeah, best movie ever.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, I know. I think that's ultimate. It's not even like I mean, that's the heightened version of it. I think people like want to be like, is thing good or thing bad, and they'll like listen to stuff in between that, but it just needs to slot into that framework, and that's that. Yeah,
I mean,
so it's like
you and I are too analytical for that. We're not good. Like,
right?
There are some critics who are good for the thumbs up, thumbs down thing, but like you and I are too analytical. We're too busy picking the thing apart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the book I'm writing is on Star Trek, and I'm like, one of the things I was doing, I'm writing this chapter, and I'm like, man, this chapter is really like I've written 2 chapters about all these criticisms of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I guess I should put something in here about why I actually like it. So
give it the old compliment sandwich.
Yeah, I was like, I like Riker's beard. All right, let's talk about the neo-colonialist influences of the franchise. Also, I thought the uniforms were pretty. Speaking of neo-colonialist influences, no, not really. That's not really.
Not as yet. I'm keeping an eye out, but not as yet.
No, but anyways, we're talking about Battlestar Galactica. But yes, we are talking about the season 2 premiere, I should say, Shattered. But before we get to that, and I don't have them up, and I meant to have them up. I keep fucking forgetting. Vamping, break room of geeks. Oh God, my screen. No, I don't want to play a YouTube video. No, stop. No. Everything's happening, Vera. Don't judge me. All right. What?
I thought so. You got the title of the episode wrong.
What did I get?
You said shattered.
Yeah, what is it?
Scattered.
Son of a whore.
I caught that immediately. I'm like, that's not what I have written down. And so while you were vamping, I was busy looking up on IMDb. I could have sworn it was scattered. And then they're like, nope, I got it.
All right. Well, let us talk about some of this. Yum Yum Podcast, again, says Ron Moore apparently met with J. Michael Straczynski before starting Battlestar Galactica to ask him how he plotted out ongoing stories in Babylon 5 and didn't gel with the advice because it was too hard. Episodes like this really makes me wish that he had taken that advice on board.
Yeah, so reminder, the one that is getting comments on it that we're quoting is Kobol's Last Gleaming Part 1, which is an episode best epitomized by the phrase, did I turn over 2 pages at once?
Yeah, it's like, wait, let's go back. Did I miss an episode? Yeah. There's also one from Romlo that I actually was going to acknowledge too here. R.I.P. Peter David, the man who had the balls to put in Babylon 5. We're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something. But yes, Peter David, as of this recording, did pass away yesterday, I believe. Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I did really like his work. Yeah, his Star Trek New Frontier books are some of my favorite Star Trek books. I
like his work too. Again, I've said this before, although it was on the Babylon 5 podcast, so I guess it's worth saying again. First thing I knew him from and recognized his name from was the original run of Spider-Man 2099, and Miguel O'Hara is one of my favorite iterations of Spider-Man. So
yeah. Now, he wrote the Star Trek New Frontier books, which are really, really good. I need to go back and reread those because I remember those being really interesting. The like plot, it's like its own sort of like sub-series, like, it's like the first time Star Trek was like, we're not going to have it be based on like Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. It's its own run of things. And the main pitch of it is the captain of that is he was a freedom fighter on his home planet, like a leader of a freedom fighter as a kid, who he lost, like his people lost, the colonizing force like took over. And so Picard came and like was like negotiating the treaty and was like, hey, the only way you're going to survive is if you come with us. The Federation became a captain there and like grew up to become a captain there. And so he's kind of, I don't give a fuck about the Federation's rules kind of captain. And it was very
I'm here because it got me out of a bad situation. I don't really give a shit about your principles.
Yes, exactly. It's a really, really good series. I'd highly recommend. So, he introduced in that series, there was one of the crew members of that ship was non-binary, like non-binary for time, like an alien who used like different pronouns or whatever, but still a non-binary alien, which was like really cool for the time. So, yeah, Peter David, pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was.
So, R.I.P. to him. And then Phantom 666 says, Season 1 did feel rather rushed near the end. I totally agree that the direction for Baltar this episode fell off. The man should have been more like a child who doesn't want to share his toys instead of actually jealous on an emotional level. So
yeah, the whole thing with Starbuck.
Yeah, it just should have been it should have been childish jealousy, not like I'm actually jealous of Apollo or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, what it really shouldn't have been is the whole thing never should have happened in the first place because what the fuck? But if it's going yeah.
And then Phantom also says, I'm not gonna say this, but I just want to acknowledge this because I agree with you. Want to avoid spoilers, but there is a specific model I can't wait to see Vera react to with the Cylons. They're such a fascinating species and personality-wise. Yes, I will agree, and I know exactly which one you are talking about, but I will not say for Vera's sake. But I just want to acknowledge.
It's funny, like the idea of other Cylon models getting introduced hadn't occurred to me for a while because like. What is it, 4?
Yeah, we've had 4 so far, I think so.
Yeah, that we know all got introduced in real rapid succession. Mm-hmm. And there just haven't been any new ones since then.
Yeah, I think they all got revealed in the miniseries. I don't think we've had any yet since the miniseries. I don't think so.
Season 1 introduced no new Cylons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, season 1 confirmed no new Cylons. I'm sure some of them are already there. Yada, yada, yada. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I will say the show does have a mix of going forward of like ones that we haven't even met yet and also ones that you have definitely met. You just don't know they're Cylons yet. There's a decent mix of that. So that's all I'll say.
Yep. So you were one of those people who had like a whole conspiracy board about who you thought was going to turn out to be a Cylon, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, that was this show and Lost were like the two that I was like deep in on. I was slightly more in on Lost than I was on Battlestar Galactica in terms of like the theory crafting, but I was in the trenches of those message boards for both. Well, we should actually get into our recap for the episode. We start off with returning back to Adama being shot. A lot of blood. People are asking where's Doc Coddle. Ty starts having mustache flashbacks, as I was calling them, because
my first note is wow, that mustache.
Yeah, it doesn't not work on him, but it's not work. Didn't he have one in Blade Runner? He had a mustache.
It didn't look like that.
No, I know. I'm saying it's not as good as his Blade Runner mustache.
He had a way thinner mustache. They gave him this bushy thing that just looks like a big caterpillar died above something. It's not good.
Thankfully, these flashbacks are real kind of like quick shots even throughout the whole episode, so we don't linger on it too much, but woof.
I mean, they really can't linger on it too much because it's really hard to make Edward James Olmos look younger. Like, his face is so distinct. Like, if they were lingering on these any longer, you try and run the mental math for how long ago these flashes were supposed to be from. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, don't think about it at all. Like, especially, like, the man has always looked that age. Like, even in Blade Runner, he looked the same age as he looks here. And, like, I've seen the picture of him. He looked decently the same today, so.
Yeah, he is one of the, like...
He's like up there with Patrick Stewart, where he aged like 40 years in the first 20 years of his life and then stayed the same.
Patrick Stewart, or just there's just something about having an especially distinct face. So like Willem Dafoe or Steve Buscemi, like they have looked the same age for like the last 40 years.
Yeah. It's like they probably didn't do many benefits when they were younger, but now they're older. It's like, yeah, damn, you still look young.
They had to age into their own face. Peter Stormare, there's another one.
Yeah, I agree. But yes, anyways, so Ty sends Boomer off the bridge, calls her a thing now. She is clearly kind of not entirely sure what's going on, or at least acting like it.
She seems surprised as to what is, and she's like trying to figure out what is happening, which would seem to indicate that the sleeper agent personality is back in control. Which, so, I tried to run through my head on this a little bit. In my mind, that means one of two things. Either she is within range of some kind of signal that basically like flicked her on and flicked her back off again, which is possible because we are about to have a Cylon contact show up like pretty soon after this. So in theory, if their range on this is slightly better than the radar, that's possible. The other possibility, and I'm more leaning towards this one, is basically it's a Manchurian Candidate thing. There's like a trigger scenario or a trigger phrase or something that like caused her in that moment to do that specific thing and then immediately revert back.
I think the implication is the second one. I'll just say outright.
I can't rule out the first one, but yeah, that's the one I'm leaning towards.
Well, we keep going. Apollo is also deeply upset. He gets taken out, not taken out, he gets taken away, but he yells like he was my father.
Ty says to put Apollo in the brig, which is weird.
I mean, why not? I mean, he's clearly emotional. Ty also has a little bit of a grudge at him because he like put a gun on him last episode.
I know, like that, and I'm actually kind of glad that gets pointed out later because otherwise I was like, wait a minute. Like, I understand holding him back because you got to try and help the commander, but like, what did he do?
Oh, he committed mutiny.
That
last episode. Yes, it was. He pulled a gun on his commander.
No, I know that, but that wasn't like the most immediate thing. Like, it's not like he was in the process of being arrested right before the shooting happened.
No, yeah, I see what you're saying, but it makes sense to me in the sense that like, he was probably going to go to the brig anyways. It's just Adama probably wanted to talk to him on the bridge first or something like that. I don't know exactly why he was on the bridge in the first place, to be frank. But he was probably going to the bridge. Because it's more dramatic
that way.
Yes, that is the answer. But yes, he was probably destined for the bridge regardless, or the brig regardless. The situation happened. Ty just wanted to get like, all right, there's too much going on. Fucking get him off to the brig. Let's get this figured out. So it made sense to me. We also get the return of Commander Kelly. Who you have not seen in quite a while. So.
Is that
it's the second in command guy from
I couldn't remember seeing him before. I noted him down as linebacker officer.
No, we've seen him before. He was way back in the miniseries. I don't know if he was in season. I don't remember him being in season 1, but he was back in the miniseries. He was like the guy who was arguing with Ty, being like, "Oh, we need to cut off the fire one in."
Right. Okay.
So he was definitely way back in the miniseries. He also walked through like the bodies of the dead at one point during the miniseries.
Okay.
And
Yes.
I don't remember if he was in season 1 at all.
I don't think he was.
But he's back now.
But yeah. So. Dude is seriously built like a linebacker.
yeah. So yeah, he's back now for here. He gets trotted out again. He's like, "Hey, I'm needed. I'm getting my guest star money again. Huzzah!" But yes, a base star does arrive because Racetrack says the Cylons could have gotten their position from Boomer because she was away from the ship for a few seconds, as we saw at the end of the last episode. Ty sort of hesitates for a second, trying to figure out what he should do, but then he, after a flashback where Adama says, "Go with what you know," he decides to tell the entire fleet to jump to immediate coordinates, even despite the fact that Doc Coddle is 15 minutes away from getting on the ship, so jumping will delay Coddle getting back to the ship to help Adama. Yep. So they jump. And I'll say what happens there in a second, but down with Roslyn, Adama gets put into the brig and kind of informs her of what's going on. And, basically she's now aware of what's going on.
Yeah, seriously, though, let the dude wash the blood off his hands.
Yeah, because she does say, is like, "What did they do to you?" She thinks, like, they had beaten him up or something, because it's his father's blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, and they won't even take off his zip tie handcuffs. He asked the guy, and he's like, "I'm in the cell, god damn it."
Yeah, and I get it. It's dramatic visual. He's literally still got the blood on him, but my immediate thought was still dudes, let him wash that off.
Again, I could buy it. Not even just a dramatic visual. I could buy it in the sense that's it's hectic right now. I just got sent orders to take you to the brig. It's hectic. I'm just doing what I'm told, sort of thing. So I buy it in the heat of the moment that that would happen. Anyways, the fleet does jump, but then there is no colonial signals. The entire fleet did not jump to the same location. Bum,
boy, that was a real tense moment where they're like, "Okay, where's the fleet?" And they're just nothing. Mm-hmm. There was not a single point of contact, not a single thing, and it's just, oh shit.
Yep. And space be big, so
it do
chances
be that.
of finding them are real bad. So yep. Well, we then jump to our new opening credits. It's slightly different. It's pretty much the same thing, but we don't get... I think we will get them returned after the opening episode, but we don't get the flashes of what's coming in the episode here.
Yeah.
And also... Yep.
I was going to say, it's the same intro, it's just different footage.
Yes, and also, we now get a number count of survivors, if you did not notice.
I did not.
Yes, so it has words like there's blah, 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 number of survivors searching for a home called Earth. That number keeps track. Oh. It is a specific number, so when characters die in an episode, it will showcase the number differently than what it was before. So keep an eye on that, because that is an ongoing tracker of how many people are still alive. So.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Right, we cut back from opening credits to Gaius back in the opera house. And he's sort of talking with Head 6 about you're speaking metaphorically about me being a father, and she's like, no, and also literally, she's our child, and she's not yet here, but she will with you soon. Gaius doesn't really understand. He seems a bit I don't know if I want to be a dad.
There's this.
I love that line.
Really great moment where 6 is like, "Do you want to hold her?" And he goes, "Yes."
yeah. He's like, "Yeah, sure." So yes, that conversation basically gets reiterated. But then he wakes up back on Kobol,
which means you fucking bitch. You tried to mess with my head last time. We were all like, "Oh well, did you notice he disappeared and he wasn't standing there?" He never even fucking woke up. You bitch.
No, what? Okay, no, I'm going to correct you. He fell asleep in a field several feet away. He is now sleeping at the foot of the archway that he walked over to. So he did move. I'm just saying. Let me put this out. I did not intentionally lead you astray.
That feels like, and I don't mean cheating on your part. That feels like cheating on the part of the show, specifically for the fact that none of the characters go, "Hey, what are you doing over here?"
Mm-hmm. Well, they do. They call him out. They say, I think Callie said something along the lines of like, "Next time you take a walk, take something or let us know." Or she has a line where she calls him out on it.
I missed it then. I'm fucking tired.
No, Callie does sort of like give a snide little remark to him about, I forget exactly what it was. It was either like, you should have taken something with you, or like, let us know where you went, or like whatever. So it's something along those lines, but she does have a little sarcastic remark at him.
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, pay the fuck attention. Don't get angry at me.
I'm not doing the synopsis. I don't have to pay attention.
Yeah,
I just point out every time you get shit wrong.
Let me put it this way. I will never intentionally lie to you. I will ask you questions and see what conclusions you come up to, but I will not ever lead you directly astray. I will let you walk down your own path. I'll do that, but that's about it.
Stop giving me enough rope to hang myself with.
Yeah. Oh, no, there's been some discussion in our things where I'm just like, Vera just took a whole path there. That's very interesting. Yeah, there's been several times in the spoiler minute where it's just like, she's wrong, but it's an interesting path.
God damn it.
And I've been very much like, I've specifically said it this way to make sure that I didn't give her the incorrect impression. So, yep. Mm-hmm. Anyways, yes. Wounded soldier is still wounded. He is taking some form of drug to help him. I forget what it was called, but a drug that's helping him. Crashdown basically tells them we need to go to the tree line so we can see the Galactica if they send a rescue party, but we won't be seen by the Cylons. But then a sonic boom goes off above them, meaning the Cylons are probably nearby, which spooks Crashdown, and he says we have to get going. But the chief tries to tell him like, hey, we should take inventory first before we go. But Crashdown's like, nope, we don't have time. We gotta go.
Yep.
So
I'm sure that won't come back up.
No, not at all. I'm sure that won't be a problem. That's what happens when you don't listen to the chief. We then cut to Ty and Ellen, where Ellen is sort of helping Ty get ready to jump back over to take over command, and she's sort of like trying to figure out who's guilty of it. It's like, where's the fleet gone? And Ty says, Gata had, they didn't we had gotten corrected coordinates for some, there's some drift or whatever, but basically the Galactica got updated coordinates for something that should have been transmitted to the rest of the fleet, but didn't, because Gata, as Ty said, had his hands full and doesn't blame Gata, even though Ellen does, because Ty says, I should have checked before I gave the order.
I actually like that there is an explanation, and it's that simple. It's as simple as, with everything going on, this thing didn't get done.
Mm-hmm. And again, Ty blames himself instead of Gata, but Ellen's like, oh, well, it sounds like a pretty big fuck up or whatever on his part, so.
Yeah, because she is lovely.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, you don't let people slide, da-da-da. And then I actually really love this cut. Ty says to her, this is Bill Adama's ship, cut to him giving a speech to the crew, presumably with that being the first line that he said to them, because he continues on, his word is the word of God, till this will be his command till the day he dies, and we are not going to let him die. So, Yep, basically being like, this is still his command, I'm just taking over for the minute. And yes, we basically learn, Kelly tells him, the only way that they can figure out where the fleet is if they jump back to where they jumped from, and do calculations for 12 hours to figure out what happened, where they went to.
Yeah, they basically, because they had this whole new set of coordinates that they went by, but they need to get back and run a whole new set of calculations based off the old information that the rest of the fleet would have still had to get what they need.
Yep, exactly. Which will take them 12 hours, which they will not have because, a silent base star is sitting right there.
Yeah.
Kind of makes it a little difficult. We then cut down to Rosalind and Adama, and Rosalind's basically worried about, getting back to where they were because they need to wait for Starbuck to come back with the arrow, and she won't be able to know where they are without them being there. And she tells Adama, you need to denounce me, you need to get back up there, do what you need to do. Get back up
Lee,
there.
we should specify.
To Lee, excuse me. And Lee says, Ty won't forgive me. I put a gun to his head. He's not going to forget that so easily by just denouncing you. And Rosalind says, I'm sorry. And he says, I knew what I was doing. And he says, I didn't do it for you. I did it for nothing, as it turns out. And Rosalind sort of assures him, you took a stand. And he's like, yeah, and now look at us. So
he's having a down moment, lady. Let him have his down moment.
His dad just got shot. He's in the brig. He just committed mutiny. It's a lot for
a bad day. Let him have a bad day.
Yep. Well, we cut to in the woods on Kobol with our intrepid crash crew. And Gaius is seeing visions of the baby in the woods. The wounded guy is kind of listening to the birds because they haven't heard birds in a very long time. But then they realize that they do not have the medication that the wounded guy needs. And because I'm just going to call him Red Shirt, one of the red shirts didn't bring it with him. So Crashdown initially sends him to go back by himself, but then Chief sort of pulls him aside and says, hey, you can't just send one person alone. Crashdown seems initially combative about it, saying, like, are you questioning my orders? And Chief's just like, hey, it's just pointing out a flaw in your plan. Doesn't need to be anything bigger than that. And so Crashdown allows both Chief and Callie to go back with Red Shirt.
I actually really like the way that the Chief is handling Crashdown. The Chief has realized, like, okay, I got to handle this guy carefully, be sure that whenever I bring up that he's doing something stupid, that, like, I never present it as, like, he's doing the wrong thing. Just like, hey, other stuff, please be aware. So I like watching him work this situation. And, like, I'm so worried about the health of wounded soldier whose name I don't know if I ever learned or not. And if I did, I forgot it.
I think I wrote it down as Tarn, but I'm not. No, Tarn is Red Shirt. I don't know the wounded guy. So, yeah. I care so deeply about
the name of the guy we're trying to save.
Nor the guy that's going to save him. So, yeah. Yes, the three of them head back. And we cut over back to Caprica, where we are back in the Delphi Museum immediately after the sixth that attacked Starbuck was killed. Boomer points out, like, her consciousness is downloading somewhere right now, and she'll tell them where we are, so we need to get the hell out of here. And yeah, Starbuck basically starts getting angry at Hilo, being like, why are we trusting her? She's a Cylon, calling all that out. And Hilo starts being defensive of her because she's carrying his baby. And Starbuck's like, number one, how the fuck do you know that? And number two, she could be lying. Number three, how is that even possible, having a baby with a machine? All very good questions, but Hilo's like, I trust her. I know.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Starbuck is actually being super reasonable
yeah.
with all this, considering she almost got killed by another Cylon, and she is faced with this one, and she's also had an unpleasant one-on-one encounter with Leoben before as well. Mm-hmm. So, like, the fact that she's looking at Tumor is like, okay, no, just all the no. And the only response Hilo has is like, no, but I know her. No, but I trust her. I just do, okay? I'm like, dude, this is a shit argument you are making.
Yep, yeah, it's real bad. It's like, no, but my penis tells me that it's all okay.
See, the thing is, I didn't even necessarily take it that way.
No, I'm just making the joke. Yeah,
I know. But, like, it's actually kind of interesting to think about, because for however the fuck long he's been on this planet, he hasn't had to run his thoughts by anybody else, really. Because, you know, Tumor was just kind of there and going along, and he's been separated from her for a little bit now, and he hasn't had to justify too much of what he wants to do, if at all. And now all of a sudden he needs to, and, like, he doesn't have a good reason.
Yeah. Really
and like
doesn't.
when it's just you don't always need a good reason, because if it's a thing you want to do anyway. But the minute you have somebody going, why though? And you're like,
Yeah, he doesn't argue super well. And it like, yeah. He's like, I think he even says, like, it's been a while. Like, I've been on this planet for a while. Yeah, I trust her because we've been here together. You don't know? So, yeah, which, like, feels like an argument from someone who hasn't had to really justify it. So,
yeah,
on gut instinct for a while. So, it reads. It works. All right, we have Ty going and talking to the medic that is stationed on board Galactica. And she basically says, like, someone needs to go in and do surgery on Adama or else we'll lose him. But she can't do it because she's just the medic for right now, and Doc Cottle's not there, obviously. We then have a flashback to Ty and Adama, and they're both kind of drunk in the, like, you can get Adama's like, Ty saying to Adama, like, oh, you believe we can get back in the fleet? And so it's just a sense like they had been kicked out of the fleet for some reason.
Yeah,
so.
Something happened that they washed out.
Mm-hmm. And Adama is pretty optimistic that they'll be able to get back in. So,
yeah.
So then we cut to Ty going to see Sharon. And she seems to be earnestly asking, how's the commander? Ty thinks she means she was asking to see if he was still alive, like to check if she got the job done. But he says, you bungled the job, he's alive. But she says, thank the gods. And he smacks her. He starts asking her questions like, how many pilots are Cylons? Who gave the order to shoot the old man? She says, no one did. I don't know. Basically she just says, get it over with, you fracking coward. And he starts beating her, puts a gun to her head, and she says, just shoot me and get it over with. But he doesn't do it and walks out of the cell.
Yeah. And like, there's kind of the unpleasant image of, a grown man beating up a woman tied to a chair, but like, that doesn't, because like we had stuff like Apollo punching Starbuck a couple episodes ago, which was like a what the hell. This, like, given that, especially at this point, Ty, and like, this isn't even necessarily in like a sexist, misogynist way, but like, he doesn't see her as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And from his position, particularly, from a military position of he has to just classify her as enemy and move on. Yeah, I think it plays decently, despite the fact that the optics would normally kind of squick me.
Yeah, no, it reads in character. Like I think what makes it kind of work is the sense like I feel like Ty would probably have done this to anybody, regardless of gender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what makes it work. It's like, not that I condone him beating anyone up, regardless of whether a prisoner or not. It reads in character for him and reads correct in terms of like the kind of guy he is. So.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. We then return to Kobol. They get the med kit. And then they're like walking back in the woods, kind of like joking with each other. But then, oh no, the Cylons start shooting them, and poor Red Shirt gets shot so many times.
Oh God, so many times. Like, the chief says, "Get down." And he's like, "Huh?" And he gets shot like 5 times, and then he's on the ground, and they're taking fire, and he's on the ground still getting shot.
Yeah, and then the chief, yeah.
And in a minute, the chief's gonna like heft him up on his shoulders and like run him out. And I don't think the show is actually implying that he gets shot again while the chief is.
No, I thought they did.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that was supposed to happen. I think he just grunts because he's being like bopped around, but it does give the impression that he got shot again.
I thought the impression was he got shot when he was running with him, which is just very funny.
I mean, like, it leaves you with that impression, and I did laugh at that. Although, like, I'm gonna note something.
Mm-hmm.
You said the Cylons showed up and started shooting.
Mm.
We don't see who's shooting. We see muzzle flare, and we clearly see somebody get shot. We do not see who is firing. Now, this is not me saying, like, I bet there's a third faction. No, I don't. But mostly I'm going on the basis of we don't know if we're dealing with Centurions or human-looking Cylons, and if so, which ones?
Mm-hmm.
So I did find it interesting that we do not see who is actually firing.
Or the rare third kind, which is the just off-screen budget-saving Centurions. I think that was probably more the answer, which is like, oh, well, we don't want to show the Centurions because then we have to do CGI of them in the woods. I think that is the answer to that question.
Oh, probably.
Anywho, we then cut to Gata and Dee in the bathroom sort of talking, where Dee says to Gata, it's not your fault. But Gata clearly blames himself. You know, I was the OOD, he says. But then he puts some butter or whatever the hell, the soap, I think it was. Soap in a line.
Soap dishes.
Yeah, it looked like butter dishes. It was weird.
It took me a second to try it because I had to try and figure out, are they in the bathroom or are they in the mess hall and is the cafeteria line?
Yeah,
because it looked like little pats of yellow Jello.
Yeah, it was weird.
But
anyways,
no, he has the classic eureka moment, like just looking at a thing that has nothing to do with anything, and you know he doesn't say this out loud, but he might as well have gone, "That's it."
Yep, that was exactly what happened. But yeah, he goes up to Ty and Kelly and basically tells them, like, look, I can, if we connect the computer network to the FTL computers, all we need is 10 minutes to be able to chart where the fleet is, if we go back to our original coordinates.
As opposed to 12 hours.
Yes, and Kelly is heavily against this because it would mean that they have put a computer network on the ship, which means that the Cylons can then hack it, and that is something that Adama never would have done. And Kelly points out, kind of using Ty's words against him a little bit, it's like, this is still the old man's ship. We can't do something that the old man would oppose if it puts the entire ship at risk. But Ty says, we begin drum prep. Those are my orders. So.
Yeah. And I just want to know, he came up with this idea of connecting together a computer network, something not typically done here, in order to more quickly calculate faster than light travel calculations. And he figured that out by taking 3 butter dishes and pushing them closer together.
Yeah, I didn't understand the connection either. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking stretch. Man, just don't do the eureka moment. It's a cliche anyway. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Well, we do get a Ty flashback, and we see that Adama has gotten back. They're like I think they like work in freight or whatever.
And it looks like a real shit job because like they get towards the end of this flashback, they like lay down in their bunks and they look like prison cots.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
No.
In fact, it might even be the same set that they used for the prisoners.
I think it probably was.
Yeah, a redress set. Anyways, they basically say, Adama basically reveals like his new wife has pull, and got him back into the fleet. And he says, give me a couple of years, I'll have pull, and I can get you back in, and I'll have my own Battlestar someday. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Pulling his own Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy from the One Piece. Like, I'm going to be king of the pirates one day.
I've never seen One Piece.
I am starting to watch it. I hesitate to say this on the internet because I'm going to get a billion people being like, oh, let's talk about it. But I'm watching it with my wife, Erin. She and I have been watching it. She's seen the whole show, all 1,000-something episodes of it.
I was going to say, One Piece is a show where it is not a joke when fans tell you it gets good after the first 100 episodes.
Yeah. Well, I am on episode 70, and it's now starting to get good. Not that I hated what came before, but it was like, all right, this is fine. And I'm like, oh, no, this is actually kind of interesting now. Took 70 episodes. But yeah, we've been watching it, like we watch like an episode before we go to bed at night. So it'll probably take me a good 5 years to catch up. But I have been watching it, so yeah. It's been fun.
Eventually, you'll get there.
Eventually, but I'm enjoying it. For anyone wondering, we just got to Little Garden. So if you're curious about it, that's the arc we're on. Don't spoil anything for me after that, you jerks. Anyways,
Jesse, I know this is a spoiler, but there's pirates in that show.
Oh, god damn it. Anyways, we then cut to Apollo. getting out on parole from his cell. Basically, we learned that he's able to go and do like pre-flight duty and basically go about his job. But when he's done, he has to go back to his cell.
Well, yeah, they need him to pilot because they're about to get attacked as soon as they jump back.
Mm-hmm. The president sort of asked Ty, like, "Hey, we should have a talk after this," and Ty says, "Nothing to talk about. You went up against the old man and you lost." And
which is an odd way to put it because he makes it sound like his political maneuver is like the old man effectively just put a gun to her head. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's again, that fits Ty though. Like
it does. Yeah. It absolutely does.
If like someone like Adama had given that response, I'd be like, all right, that feels silly and dumb. But for Ty, he's just like, he thinks one way where it's just like, all right, I follow the old man. The old man says something and did it. And she went against him. She lost. Like it fits his personality pretty well.
Oh yeah. Big time.
And he also doesn't, as we'll talk about towards the end, he doesn't want to make those like larger scale decisions or think through any of those things. It's just not something he gives a shit about. So.
Yeah.
Anyways, Gata has the firewall ready, which he's sort of using to sort of try to prevent the Cylons from getting into their network as they sort of work out the coordinates. There's a nice little line where Gata says, I wish Dr. Baltar was here, probably could have done better. And Ty says, I'll take your work over that shifty son of a bitch any day. And I'm like, yeah. I agree. And Gata seems pretty pleased with that.
You are more right than you know, buddy.
Yep, very much so. But yes, we basically get a big action sequence, a bunch of different things happening here. So, we have the Vipers going out to fight the Cylons. In that part of the battle, there is a strange-looking Cylon ship that they've never seen before. They manage to try to shoot it down, and it gets into the Galactica's sort of like the what do you call it? The landing pod, the landing pod strut, but on the side that they do not normally use, because that you can see in the background when we get a look in there later. It's the spot where it had the museum from way back in the miniseries. You can see the museum in the background there.
Yeah.
So
it kind of crashes in there.
Yeah,
and they have to just kind of leave it at that because it's noted by Lee. There's no fire. There's no decompression.
We're good. We can deal with other things right now. So yeah, so it lands in there. The other element of this is Adama's heart stops, so the medic has to go in and cut into him. Thankfully, she managed to save his life, so he had to go surgery. And then on the Galactica, well, actually, I'll say this. The president is sort of watching all this stuff happen, and one of the guards sort of asks her to pray with him and calls her a prophet during the prayer. So there is that.
Which,
I know, your favorite thing.
Let me put it this way. I understand religion is a major theme here. Faith is a major theme here. I'm not going to complain about their presence. I am going to say that I have really enjoyed the political ins and outs, especially between Roslin and Adama, and I do not ever want to see that reduced down to she basically has a cult.
I will say that it becomes less. It doesn't really become the major. Like, obviously there'll be religious stuff to do with Roslin going forward, but it is not the main driving factor of conflict between the two of them, I will say.
Okay.
So, but it is there. It is a thing.
Yeah. I guess my other concern is just going to be this sort of oversimplification of what people of faith think, because I'm going to pull a random moment from Doctor Who that nobody remembers, but I do, and it's the one that comes to my mind when I think of what I'm worried about being the case. And it's Fires of Pompeii. It's series 4, and they're in Pompeii, they're in ancient Greece, and this like massive lava monster comes out of the floor. And there's this servant of the house where this happened, and he's like, it is a messenger of the gods. He just kind of wanders toward it. And we're like, bullshit. I understand that he has some religious explanation for this, but I do not buy that in a moment of a fucking monster crashing in from crashing up through your floor, that you're just like, oh, we are saved or whatever. Bullshit. And it's like, it's that kind of depiction of people of faith, like their brains fucking switch off and they act just not like people.
Yeah.
And so that's
I don't think
what
that's
I'm worried about.
Yeah. And this guard doesn't fall necessarily into that. I could buy this guard.
No, he doesn't. We're not there yet. This is more early warning sign.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially. Well, if it goes that way. Hopefully not.
Well, we'll see. I won't say anything. We then on the bridge we get the sort of standard like, oh look, the Cylons are breaking into the firewall. They almost get right to reaching the firewall, but they manage to get the coordinates at the last minute and they jump away.
It's even more contrived than that because they have 5 firewalls set up, so we can effectively have a countdown as each one falls.
Yes. So yeah, they do that, but they manage to get the coordinates and jump away just as, again, a bunch of missiles are about to hit them. Happens every fucking time. They jump away right when missiles are about to hit them.
Look, Ronald, it's a good visual. I thought it was really neat the first time, but...
this is like the 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, they do manage to get away, and huzzah, they are back with the fleet. I wish we had gotten to see some of the reactions of the people on the fleet, because I would have been like, oh, thank Jesus Christ.
Yeah. But where the fuck you been? We started resorting to cannibalism. They all get there,
and we then cut to Ty going to see that Adama has survived the heart, the surgery, but he's still critical. So he stopped the medic stopped the bleeding, but he is still critical.
Critical and unconscious.
Yes. So then Ty talks to him while he's unconscious. Says, "Can you hear me, Bill?" We then get a flashback here where Ty is drunk and about to burn all of his like fleet badges, like his medals and stuff and pins. But then he gets a knock on the door and he learns that he has been reinstated back into the fleet because of Major Adama, which kind of shocks Ty. He's like, "Oh, Major." So yeah, he's back in the fleet because of Adama. And then we cut back to the present, and Ty says to the unconscious Adama, says, "You never should have let me back in the service. I would have died back on Caprica and been happier for it. I don't want a command. I never did. Don't you dare die on me now."
I rather like the dynamic that you get from a second officer who has no desire to advance.
Mm-hmm. No, he is perfectly happy to just be the XO. So
yeah.
Kind of very Riker-esque to a degree, except for even more so in the sense that like he doesn't want to advance ever. Like Riker was like, "I'm happy here for the moment." You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, Riker still had the sense of like, look, maybe one day. Ty's just like, fuck no.
Yeah, I don't ever fucking want that. Yeah, he's like, "I'm happy just doing this, just doing my job." So don't want to have to make those hard decisions. He's a military guy. He just through and through. He's like, I don't have to think it all the way through. So
yeah. I will facilitate your orders. Don't let me be the one who has to come up with what they are, please.
Yes, exactly. But then, to end out the episode after that moment, we then cut into the mysterious Cylon ship that landed in the landing bay, and it turns out that it had on it a Cylon boarding party of Centurions.
We skipped over a whole thing.
Did we? What did we skip over? Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why. I know exactly what you're talking about. Kobol stuff. I don't know why I didn't get that in my notes. Yeah, so we skipped over it because we jumped ahead when we were talking about Red Shirt getting killed. Yeah, the only thing with that is, so back on Kobol, after Red Shirt gets shot multiple times, the Chief sort of takes him and drops his body off, and it turns out he has died. The Chief is very upset about it and is like starts yelling about it. And
how much of an asshole does it make me that I was kind of relieved when the guy died because I was like, Chief, don't you dare use some of those medical supplies you just recovered on this guy. They will go to waste. He better fucking die before you try and save him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he died.
I felt like an asshole, but that was what I thought.
But yeah, Chief is clearly very upset at this guy's death and like the whole fucking situation.
And that wasn't even the bit I was thinking of.
Oh, what did I miss?
We missed the back half of Caprica where
why
Tumor
I don't know why I
steals the
missed...
fucking ship.
Oh, I know what happened. I accidentally just jumped over a whole page of my notes. That's why. So yes, there was that stuff in the woods. But yes, so at the Delphi Museum, it's not even the second half. It's just part of that scene. It was just the end of that scene that I missed here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So the end of that scene and back on Caprica, while they're arguing, Sharon steals Starbuck's Cylon Raider and takes off with it. So, yep.
Which that won't keep because they don't have a way off the planet otherwise. So, like, she'll be back.
Maybe.
I'm just assuming she'll be back. That's my
else.
automatic assumption. And while I kind of appreciated Starbuck having this sort of I blame you tone to her, like, bitch took my ride that she says to Hilo, I kind of chuckled at that, but I'm like, she'll be back.
I'm not saying anything. Who
you
knows?
don't have to. She'll be back.
Who knows? Interesting that you think that. All right.
You're not going to get me this time. I'm very confident in this one.
All right. Well, that is everything, unless there's something else I forgot.
Probably.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm not going to do any spoiler minute, just because there's nothing super big here that I need to get at. It's fairly straightforward going on in this episode. Yeah, what'd you think?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty strong opener. It's intense.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like for the space battles or the or the continued execution of the red shirt, but honestly, just the just even the small things about them jumping and the fleet not being there, just that alone has an intensity to it, and it's pretty well put together. This one hits the ground running.
Yeah, I really like this episode too. If I recall, seasons 2 or 3 is when the show is probably my favorite. I also have a soft spot for season 4 that a lot of people don't. But yeah, I remember the first season being rough, so I'm glad that so far, we'll see how long it lasts, but so far that first season was rough, but it gets better from there. Idea has started off strong. So we'll see if that nostalgia memory continues. But yeah, I really like this one quite a lot.
Yeah, no, it was good.
So, yeah. Anything else, Vera?
Nah, not really.
Yeah, I think it's just a solid, it's nothing super, super big to like dig deep into, but it's a fairly effective story. So, all right, stuff time.
Stuff. Let me finish my booze. Stuff. You can find my stuff by looking for Council of Geeks. By the time you hear this, the latest season of Doctor Who will be over, which means I am going back to only one video a week on the main channel instead of 2, which is part of why I've been so damn exhausted.
Yeah.
The last few records. New videos every single Saturday on that channel. I do have a kind of a big-ish video that I am planning to put together for Pride Month. I'm hoping I get it done in time. We'll see. Patreon is what pays the bills and keeps the whole thing up and running. There is the Break Room of Geeks, which you indeed might even be listening to this podcast on. Ooh. But it is where you can find my less structured thoughts on whatever I have watched, listened to, played, or read lately. You can also find Council of Geeks on Blue Sky now and then when I feel like it. That is the geeky stuff. There is, of course, also the spicy stuff.
Spicy stuff.
And for that, you look for Vera Wild. Wild is spelled W-Y-L-D-E. And you can find increasingly spicy content. On YouTube. Instagram. TikTok.
Well, you can find my stuff at Jesse Gender on YouTube. That's where I video essay style stuff. I will... If it's not out by the time this episode goes up, it will be out fairly soon thereafter. I have a video about Star Wars Andor coming out, and then I have a video on Sex and Star Trek coming out probably within a few weeks after that, so check that out there. I have a secondary channel called Just Gender After Dark, where I do news, reviews, reactions. I am done with most of the big reviews right now, but Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be the big thing coming up on the radar next. I am also going to be filming next month an episode of the show Subliminal, which is on the streaming service Nebula will be airing later this year or early next, which also houses my movie Identities, which is the science fiction short film that stars John Delancey and Abigail Thorne, amongst many others, that you can check out over there, along with all of my other stuff that supports me if you sign up for Nebula. And I also have a Patreon that helps pay my bills. So if you want to sign up there, get your name in videos early, or scripts of videos before they come out, like my Star Wars Andor video script is now currently up there for your viewing pleasure. And then I'm also on Bluesky and Instagram, I guess, if you want to check out the one picture that I post there every month, every year or so, or wherever often I post there. That's everything for me. Anything else? Voila.
That's good for me.
Alrighty then. I hope y'all live long and prosper.
Be seeing you.